Hi there and welcome to Hyundai Power Products. My name's Adrian and I'm excited to share a new product with you today. This is our HYT175EX electric start tiller. Unusual that it's got an electric start. So I'll open the box, put the contents on the table, show you exactly what you get, and then we'll move on with the assembly. We have the main unit itself with the upper handles. We have a bag here with all the fixtures, fittings, nuts and bolts that you may need. We have the 4 tines. We have the control panel. This box contains the battery for the electric start. Lower part of the handle. Here we have the Tine covers. The depth stay bar. Outer Tine covers. The front jockey wheel. And last but not least, the user manual. Now we do recommend that you read the user manual thoroughly before use. So what we're going to do is put all the tines on first. So what you see is on each side, you've got a tine that looks like this, which is just a shaft with 4 tines. You've got a double stack, which is 8 tines, and then the disc that goes on the end. So that would be one side, so let's say the front side here, and the other set of 3 would be for the back side. So I've gone into the bag of nuts and bolts, and what you'll find is that you'll see 6 longer bolts and 6 shorter bolts in the bag, and obviously 6 nuts to go with them. For all the assembly of the tines, we're going to use the 6 longer bolts. So if I take the part with the shaft, that's going to fit into this end of the double one. So you'll see the end that faces towards the gearbox has got this stub on it. There isn't the stub this end. And we fit those 2 together. Now if I rotate, you'll see that the holes line up here. So what I'll do is just temporarily put 1 bolt in there. That's step 1. Easier to do this before you fit the machine, and then on the end we'll fit the disc in, and let me just rotate it round. You'll see the hole there. Again, I'll line those 2 holes up and I'll put one of my bolts in. Okay, so with those in the holes, I'll put a nut on the other side. So using the spanners provided, now that we've got the 2 bolts in the holes, if you do have a socket, you'll find it easier if you've got a socket set or something, but we do provide the 2 spanners, so I'll show those being used. But yes, we can proceed to do up the 2 bolts, and then we'll take the assembly for the other side of the tiller, the other 3 components, and do exactly the same for them. Okay, so with it all done as a sub-assembly, I'll put the set of tines on this side, line up the screw in the hole, put the final nut on the back, tighten these 2 up, and then do exactly the same on the other side. So the next thing we're going to do is to fit the front transport wheel. So the bolt is already in it, so I'll just take the bolt out temporarily. Okay, so the radius part on here, the square edge and the radius part, the radius part faces the tines, so that's step 1. And what I'm going to do, you'll see the hole here. I'm going to fit the spring into that hole and just bring the bar into here. Once that's in position, probably easier if I put the bolt in from this side. Get the bolt through the 2 holes, fit the nut on, and tighten up the nut and bolt. So I put the nut and bolt in now. Be careful not to over tighten it because it'll clamp too tight on the bar and you won't be able to move it. So you should be able to move it from position A to position B easily, so don't over tighten this bolt.
For the assembly of the handles, make sure they are fit in this orientation. They should be pointing out and away from each other. Once that is done, get ready to tighten the 6 bolts.
Okay, so with all 6 in position, I'll just make sure that they're all tightened down. So the next thing I'm going to do is fit the control panel. So if I remove the 2 screws, which are supplied already fitted in the back of the handlebars, I'll remove those first. So to make life simple, first thing I'm going to do is just quickly remove that front cover. Stored inside the box here where the battery fits is the power cable. I'll just pull that out and then locate the control panel on the back of the bar, lining up the 2 holes where the screws went. And I can just simply put the screws back in the holes and tighten down. I'll get them both started first, but tighten down on both sides to locate the toolbox. So with the box fitted in position, I'm going to take the power cable now and feed it down through the inside of the lower handle. I'll show you with the other side in a second. Just feed it down through and out of the hole in the front. And as you can see, the power cable comes out through this little slot here. So the battery's going to go in here a little bit later on. Simply refit the cover and snap it back into place. Okay, we're getting there now. So 4 bolts down here already placed in position. I'm going to take those out of their holes, and then we can fit the handlebars as a complete unit into place. Now you may need a little bit of assistance with this. So with the lower handle fitted, I can just connect to the electrical connection. So we'll do that now while we think of it. And there we are, good firm push and connect the electric buttons from the handlebars. So in the bag of nuts and bolts, you'll see 4 short bolts, which are the last 4 in the bag, little short ones, and those are for putting the mud guards on, or the splash guards, or the Tine guards, 2 on either side. Put them in place. I've already done the other side, and tighten them down. So hopefully, if you've got the handles on the right way round, you'll see there's a crossover on the 2 cables, which is correct. So just down by the electrical box, I'll put a cable clip on that one, and cable clip on that one, and that'll keep all our cables nice and tidy. So we'll talk about the battery. When the engine is running on the machine, it does not charge the battery. So from time to time, you will need to charge the battery. That's why we supply a battery charger, standard sort of mobile phone type battery charger, plugs straight in the 13 amp outlet and has the plug which plugs into the battery. So I'd probably leave this to charge for 6 hours before use. So to fit the battery, we'll open up the battery box again. Battery slides in with the red tab upwards and firmly down into position, and then we can close the battery box. So the last thing to fit is going to be the depth gauge. I've just taken the R clip and pin out from the hole, and I can fit the depth gauge straight up in from underneath. I'll show you me fitting the R clip. There you go, that's the pin in position, and R clip back on. We've got to fit engine oil into the engine before use. So this is SAE 30, 1540 or 1030 engine oil, and it goes in here through the filler. So we'll remove the dipstick, and the dipstick, as you can see, has graduations, and what we're looking to do is to fill the oil up in the sump of the engine up to the top of the graduations, just here, top of the serrations. So slowly pour in your engine oil, a little bit at a time, leaving it time to run down the spout, and periodically checking it just by dipping it like that. Don't screw it in, just dip it, and you'll see the oil level on the dipstick. Once you get to the desired position, refit the dipstick and make sure you screw it down firmly. So next thing we do, fresh unleaded fuel into the fuel tank. Now we recommend you filter within about 25 millimeters of the top of the spout, no more than that, okay, to allow a bit of air room or room for expansion. Whenever you're filling this with fuel, always stop the engine, always make sure that you're outside in a well ventilated area, and never do it when the engine is hot. Should you spill a bit of fuel and it get onto the exhaust, you have a risk of fire. So well ventilated area, outdoors, let it cool down. Once you've filled the tank, screw the fuel filler cap back on securely. Let's talk about the controls and operation. Very few controls on this machine. You have the 2 handles up at the top, you have the on-off button, and obviously we also have the recoil should we need it. If you find yourself with a flat battery, you've got the recoil as a backup to start the engine. So procedure is, on the right hand handle, this is the run position. For a cold start, push this lever forward like that towards the engine, and that turns the choke on the engine. With that done, simply push the start button, the engine will start. Once the engine has started, drop this lever back into the run position. There's no throttle on this engine, it's purely a choke lever. So that's for a cold start. Once you're running, pull it back. The other lever engages the drive for the tines, starts to rotate. That's that side of it. To stop the engine, pull it right back, and that will stop the engine. Okay, so that's the engine stop position. It will not start in that position. For a warm start, you may find that just the upright position, and you can push the start button and start the engine. Obviously for a cold start, right forward to engage the choke. So that's choke, run, stop. Okay, lever on the other side. Again, when you pull it back, it will engage the drive of the tines. When you release it, it will stop the drive of the tines. Obviously, if you do have a flat battery, cold start, put it in the cold start position. Instead of pushing the start stop button, take the recoil, pull it until you feel resistance, back in, and then pull start the engine. Again, to stop the engine, or once it's started, vertical. When you want to stop the engine, right back. For more information on this or any of our other products, visit www.hyundaipowerproducts.co.uk. I've been Adrian. Happy gardening.